Boo, 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 boo. Happy Bowtie Friday. I'm Austin Griffith. I'm here with the Build Guild. We're building stuff. This will be a quick one. We're just going to run through some stuff that we're working on. I think Carlos is going to start us off. Let me make sure you can share your screen. Yep, you can. And I think we're going to dive into Build Guild V3 and some speedrun Ethereum stuff. Lots of like onboarding and kind of like the pipeline and stuff. Oh, it looks so good. I'll kick it off to you and I'll shut up. Go, Carlos.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Cool. So just like a quick update on the BuidlGuidl new website. Now we have made like the full transition from the old site to the new site. So we have like a new homepage, which is looking better, I think. And you know, some text here. This is like more organized, I think. So now people that lands in this page can see, you know, like all the steps that they need to make or they need to take if they want to be part of the BuidlGuidl, which starts with speedrun Ethereum, right? And then here you can see like all the renamed roles of the BuidlGuidl. Something, yeah. Now you can also on the builds, you can also search for builds now. NFT, for example, like each build have a new, not new, but like a single like detail page. Also, if you use like because this was like the bazaar before, so if you have like a link to bazaar before, just it doesn't matter because this will redirect to the new site. So don't worry about that. Also, what else here? I think, yeah, on the portfolio side, you can also make the withdraws now from here. Before you have to do it like on the old website. On the technical side, one thing that we did is creating like a stream indexer, which is like runs like every 30 minutes, I think, and it pulls like all the events, all the withdraw events from people, so we don't have to, you know, like to kill the RPC for this data, and we have that stored in our database. So that runs like every 30 minutes, but if you do like a withdraw, that will make the transaction, and after the transaction is complete, it will call the stream indexer just for that address, and it will update like the events for withdrawals. So that way we are like saving a lot of calls to the RPC. And I think that's it. I don't know, Austin, if you want to mention, because I think most of the people that are in this meeting were also in the meetings on Wednesday, but like you were like talking about like transitioning a little bit from anarchy to less anarchy, I think. So I think just like this website can be like a good place to start, because people can come here and see who we are, what we are doing, what we are building. And yeah, like if you have like any feedback on the website, or just, I mean, we are like making like little improvements like every week. But if you have like any feedback for the website, I'm happy to hit it. So that's it. Yeah.
Good work, man. And at its core, like I think BuidlGuidl still should have kind of an anarchy kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Like, and what I mean by that is more like the bazaar versus the cathedral. Like it should be very open and up to you as the builder to explore what you think is important. So like it's not like we want to take the anarchy out. I think we just want to add a little structure to the anarchy, and maybe all the anarchists can get together every few weeks and talk about the cool things they're building and see if there's rooms to coordinate and collaborate, just because there's lots of cool stuff we're working on. And a lot of people are kind of just like working on those things slightly in the dark, and then you show up and present them here on Friday. But yeah, that Wednesday meeting is more for like, let's start being a little bit more social within the BuidlGuidl and see if there's more room to collaborate, and just make sure everybody has like something to work on. But still at the core, it should be an anarchy, and it should be like it's up to you to decide what you think is the most important thing for the ecosystem, and you go learn that thing, and then you build something and teach that back to people. So we don't want to lose our anarchy. We don't want it to be like a top down kind of thing. So
and maybe it's like tune it down from a 10 to an 8 right? Like just turn it down a little bit.
Yeah. like someone like smashes and burns a car, and we're like, oh, let's go a little less anarchy than that. right. No, good work. And I think that like the whole speedrun Ethereum pipeline is so cool. Like I get on speedrun Ethereum every day. If you're a builder, you know that you've seen, like, you kind of go through these challenges, but you probably don't know that on the other side there's kind of like this whole CRM where we can see all the builders coming through, we can see how they're doing. If they set up their socials, then I reach out to them, right? So I'm watching speedrun Ethereum, and as soon as someone gets like 1 or 2 challenges done and they have their Twitter address there, I'm going out to their Twitter and I'm like, hey, good job on speedrun Ethereum, keep going. A lot of times I'm like, here's some money to go get an ENS address. So I'm kind of just like helping people through speedrun Ethereum. And when they come out on the other side, they pop out into BuidlGuidl. And then it's like, build a DEX, build a multisig, like kind of level up your skills. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on the speedrun Ethereum and BuidlGuidl side. And that a lot of that is due to Carlos's great work on that. And we're starting to talk about a new curriculum. Edda and I are kind of like putting together this idea of this curriculum leading up to speedrun Ethereum, where instead of if you're a developer and you're a good Web 2 developer, but you've never even used MetaMask before, diving into speedrun Ethereum is going to be a big ask, right? So we're thinking about, like, can we give you the why of decentralization? Can we take you through becoming a power user? Can we take you through what mnemonics and wallets and all that stuff is? And then can we take you through like a set of programming? And this is another thing that Carlos is going to help us with, I think, is like scripting, is like build an Ethers.js script so you understand wallets, so you understand providers, so you understand signers, just like some of that basic stuff where we start from like scratch and create a node script. So hopefully, Carlos, we can think a little bit less about BuidlGuidl and speedrun Ethereum for a couple of weeks and kind of work on these scripts and have some fun, just kind of like learning ourselves and teaching it back. So hopefully speedrun Ethereum and BuidlGuidl, the machine is running and we'll keep it oiled and we'll keep it going. And we can kind of like tinker with these new kind of educational things. But good job, Carlos. Awesome stuff. Speedrun Ethereum is a lot of fun. I think Soren, are you up next? You want to show us, you've been tinkering with some Starkware stuff. Nothing polished here, but just like take us through the journey. How is that going?
Yeah, sure. Wait, let me share my screen.
And you're not on a German highway this time. This is weird. You're in a static, like a house. Like, that's strange.
Okay, where's my desktop? Okay, for some reason my desktop's not showing.
We could transition to POWV. Oh, no, here it comes. Here it comes. We got you. I got code. Okay. I see a constants file.
Okay, yeah. So I did a little proof of concept to see how easy it would be to deploy smart contracts written in Cairo to the girly Starknet network. And luckily there was like there's a hardhat plugin that the guys from Starknet created, which made it pretty easy and convenient to do. Well, not easy. It was still a lot of easy, yes, but not convenient, because there was still a lot of things you had to kind of change and move around. But I did get it working kind of, but very hacky, like hard-coded private keys and stuff. And like fetch existing account flags and stuff. Like, shouldn't be that way, but I think we can get there somehow.
Why is the account address the size of a private key on line 42 there? I don't understand. Like, shouldn't the address be smaller? Or is that a Starknet thing?
It's a Starknet thing. Like it's also like here in the artifacts, like Starknets, there are no accounts like in Starknet, like there are like addresses like there are in Ethereum, but they have like these Starknet account smart contracts that have like, I know you have to deploy them too. Like you have to deploy an account before you can do something. That's why all these-
Interesting. So
Yeah.
that account is actually a private key that has deployed an actual account or something like that.
Yeah, like it's like you run this script once with the create account set to a flag set to true, then it like creates. Oh, we can do this now. Is it switching over? No, it's not. Yeah, so like you run the deploy script in the README, and then it like it checks, okay, that like you put in the create account flag to true. So it generates a private key and an account, and it deploys the account to the Starknet, and it logs the private key and the address in the console. And then you copy it out, copy it in here, and then you can deploy a contract. I'm not sure like why there are no gas costs to deploying an account contract. I always thought that that was necessary for like DDoS protection. I'm not sure about how that works yet. But yeah, that how it goes. But there's also like inside the hard hat plugin, there's supposed to be a configuration possibility to add accounts, but I haven't figured that out yet. Like I tried, but it wouldn't work. So like here you should supposed to be able to add accounts. Where is it? Here. It's like my wallet, and there's like a module path towards the account and path accounts, but this is not working yet. But like it's very bare until now. But yeah, you do the deployment 2 times with the flag switched, and then it deploys an ERC 721 contract to their DevNet. Yeah, but like some quirk thingies are like you have to like convert strings to like some byte format, which I could not get working for some reason. Like this, like the name is like just numbers random at the moment, and the same goes like for the chain ID. It was also very difficult. I can't connect to the front end. I can't connect the hard hat front end, the scaffold-eth React app, to the actual contract. Because like the chain ID, you have to run like some Python command that like turns the string sn girly into a byte string or something, and then you have to like paste it in, but it's not working. All very like, also the documentation is very, very bare. Like there's not a lot going around, but it's a start. It's a start. Like at least we can deploy something.
I get the feeling that the Starkware guys are focused on building Starkware in Cairo and not focused on making it approachable for new developers.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a second effort that will happen after they've got and it's tough because like they're in competition with all these other L2s to capture like the mind share. And if you launch too early and you capture the mind share, but you don't have a good product, then you're really in trouble. So I understand their battle, but man, you gotta have good developer relations. Like you got to be able to build this stuff, and it's obvious. Like there's going to be account abstraction, there's going to be gas abstraction, there's going to be like these things that are going to be different. It looks like even the could you go back to the smart contract for a little bit? The smart contract is going to be like just totally different in terms of the syntax.
Yeah, like there's no concept of strings. It's all felts, so they have to be converted before deployment, which is like big string for me to stumble stone for me to get it working. Yeah, it's like I would like the last step I would like to do is like I would like to connect the front end.
Yeah, it'd be great to have the app. Yeah,
for some reason like the hard hat contracts are not copied over to the React app.
It's chain ID there, right? Like it's the contracts all work for chain IDs, and it looks like your chain ID is some giant number. So I don't even know how that translates.
Me neither. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what to do. Like like I'm talking to the guys in the Telegram group, but I think I'm already talking a bit too much, like asking every 2 minutes. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we've got a good connection with them. Hopefully they can give us some good feedback. It's so what's the overall goal? Is Cairo great for, my understanding is it's great for like high computation stuff that then gets put on chain in a very light way, where you can do a bunch of computation on Cairo and it's not that expensive. Is that true, or am I missing it?
I think like the idea behind it was like, I mean, Polygon, like they went for EVM equivalence, so we could use Solidity, right? But like meant that they had to take some shortcuts when it came to scalability. And I mean, I think they're using an optimistic version or something, right? I'm not entirely sure. And Starknet wants to like build from the ground up, only using Starks and minimal trust. That comes with that. But I think it's like too difficult or not, or would taken too long to compile Solidity down to Stark compatible circuits. So they had to create their own language. That's my theory, but I'm not 100%.
They're playing the long game. Yeah, I'm definitely like an EVM maxi, just because all of my tools and everything work on EVM, and it's like when I can switch the RPC and just deploy the whole stack there, and it just works. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like
but I could see,
project,
yeah.
After this project, I'm an EVM maxi too.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to go through and learn this stuff though, and also provide them feedback, and I mean keep asking questions in the chat. They're even if they don't like have like a hardcore DevRel focus right now, they appreciate the feedback, I'm sure. Awesome, cool build. I think Isaac did a build on Cairo that was like the game of life, where it did tons of iterations through like a cellular autonoma kind of world, each step, where you could do like high computation stuff, but I don't know how far that got or where they ended up with it. But yeah, I can imagine some pretty cool like high computation things, because like that's just like totally inaccessible in terms of like the current model of on-chain computation has to be like very, very, very simple computation, right?
Yeah.
So when someone solves this CK rel, go ahead, yeah.
I think like I think they did a presentation at the Amsterdam conference, right, where they were talking about layer 3. For me, it was the first time I heard about layer 3, and where they say like they want to like they have the layer 2 now, which is like supposed to be like super non trustworthy, or like what do you say, like with scalable and trustworthy, like taking the whole trustlessness of the beacon chain. But like doing the high computation would not require that amount of trust. So they were starting to build a layer 3 now. But I'm also shaking
L3.
L3
sounds great. L3 2033. Awesome. Well, thanks, Soren. I think POWVT has a marketplace to show off. Let's see if he's around. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, what's up, BuidlGuidl? Yeah, so I've been working on, or more or less this has come from a fascination with just all the different marketplaces that are out. I mean, OpenSea is obviously kind of the main one, and then Rarible looks rare. You know, they're growing by the minute. So, and I kind of think that like, you know, just in general, due to like the utility of, you know, ERC 721s, we could like see, you know, NFTs for various other types of, or various marketplaces for different types of NFT markets, you know, like tracking like the real estate market or other types of assets, not just art. So that was kind of like the motivation behind this. And the goal was to just create basically like a template marketplace that you could iterate on, you know, just like Scaffold is, that you could iterate on, you know, add gas-less transactions or, you know, off-chain signatures or things like that. But this is basically like a boilerplate to give you just buys, bids, and all of that like built-in functionality that you would need for a marketplace. And as an addition, I know that like a lot of marketplaces use, you know, royalty structures. So I added that in as well. So I can share my screen and kind of just go through like the 40,000 foot perspective view. Let's figure that out, right? How do I do that? Here we go, share screen. All right. Oh. Sorry, I have some preferences that it's not letting me. Geez.
Sometimes you have to like quit out and bring it back.
I have to put my password in. Jeez. Okay. See if it works now. sorry. I haven't presented on Zoom before, so this is fun. Oh, geez. I mean, it is on also on GitHub under my branch. If maybe Austin, you want to bring
Okay.
it up?
Yeah. Let me share my screen here and see what we have.
Right.
So you're talking about on if I go
It's-
to BuidlGuidl and go to builders and go to POWBT.
Yep, that guy.
Is that POW? Is the VT Virginia Tech? What is the VT?
Vermont.
What is the Vermont? Ah, got it.
Yeah, that guy right there.
Okay, cool. So this marketplace right here. Cool.
Yep. So if you want to go to like the marketplace.sol contract.
Okay. We look at the code and we go to that guy.
Yes. Awesome.
How's
Thank
that? Yeah, no
Yep.
problem.
So cool. So this is basically, it's really just one contract for the marketplace. And then there's two other contracts that are just mock ERC20 and mock ERC721. So it's has reentrancy and it's ownable. Most
I saw that.
obviously. And just the state there is there's a mapping for the listing structs and a mapping for the royalty structs. And basically some basis points for the royalty percentage. So right there, as you can see, those two structs at the top would set your royalty and listing. That second one's an event, but if you scroll up just a little bit, yeah, that guy.
Oh, sorry.
I
was gonna say that's a big struct.
Yeah, no,
but this is still a big struct.
Still pretty
that's still
big
an expensive struct.
Absolutely. So that's kind of why I'm thinking like, off-chain, signatures would be a better way to approach this. But for now, just to have a MVP on Rinkeby, we have a nice gas intensive struct. So one modifier for an owns, basically saying you're the owner of an NFT, and you can use that on various functions. So that first main function is to create that listing. And you can enter in there whether it's an auction or not. The auction is similar to how OpenSea does it. You just need to enter a bid that's higher than the previous one. And that previous bid is sent back to the previous bidder. That being said,
where's that? Let's find that real quick. Did you use send or did you use call when you return the money to the? It's the old King of the Hill attack pattern. If you don't use .call, you can grief it. Where is it?
So that's the buy. That's just straight up buy. So
okay.
if there's no auction, you would be, so if the auction set the bool and auction set to false, you could only use the buy function. There's a require statement that guards that. And then
it would be the bid.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be bid. Here we go.
Down right there. So yeah, those are the transfer statements.
Oh, okay. It's an ERC20, not
basically.
Okay.
Right. So I have this only working with ERC20s and not ETH. After reading about a few of the hacks that were happening on like Arbitrum and whatnot, I just didn't want to deal with having the native currency. So yeah, this is all ERC20s. I guess that should be a big like asterisk in the README. It's a good point. So that comment right there is basically saying that the marketplace is used as an escrow. So there should be, care taken of who's the owner, and there's some withdraw functions below that basically take that into consideration. So that withdraw function next would be after a auction has ended, that returns the proceeds to the seller, and then also the royalty to the royalty receiver if there is one. So and then there's an auction cancel and a few other kind of miscellaneous functions to work with the auctions, but that's kind of the main outline of it. There's a buy, a bid.
Damu's saying you can remove this payable. I think he's right. Maybe it's there for
Yeah, you're right, because I
saving
was
gas.
Well, to that point, we were
You were
talking
using ETH at
before,
first.
I originally had it as an ETH contract, and then just found out that working with the ERC20 seemed to be a bit easier. So there is a front end which I have running but can't share right at the moment. But there's in the README there is a kind of just a screenshot of the input boxes and whatnot that you would use to create a listing and also like buy and bid on an NFT.
So you create a listing, it creates a giant struct on chain, and then anyone can bid on that listing. And when they bid, the ERC20 transfers into the contract and is held in escrow. If someone outbids me, their ERC20 transfers in and mine transfers back to me. And then the other key piece here is that you've built royalties into the marketplace. So there's when the transaction happens and someone wins the bid, there's some of that ERC20 that goes as a royalty somewhere else. Is that right?
Correct. Yep. And,
Cool.
and that royalty percentage being in 10,000 basis points. So 1% royalty would be 100 entered in that struct.
Cool. Awesome build. Nice stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, I was hoping with Surge down this morning, I was hoping to put it on Rinkeby Surge, and maybe if people had some NFTs, we could, do something, but maybe another time.
When Surge goes down and all of our decentralized applications stop working, it's kind of like,
Good learning
but also
experience.
Surge is awesome. Like I sent them a message this morning, like, yo, we use you guys so much. Like, how do we send what we need is like Surge needs to have an address, and every time, and like this is my vision of like Web3 stuff is like the package JSON that we have. It should say Surge and the version of Surge we're using, and then an Ethereum address, right? And anytime like a company makes revenue or they get public goods funding, it should be able to distribute to all the different dependencies that they use. And Surge should be getting a cut. Not like we're making any money. If we were all making tons of money, Surge should definitely get a cut. But somehow from our own revenue that comes into the Build Guild, or even like public goods funding that the Build Guild gets, we should figure out how to give a cut to Surge and some of those other dependencies that we're using, and figure out how to do that in a Web3 native way eventually, where it is part of just like every build has all of its dependencies with addresses and you could YOLO to them. I think the problem with that right now is like the Web3 ecosystem is the Web2 ecosystem is, there's a chunk of Web2 people that are absolutely allergic to anyone saying anything about NFTs or Web3 or Ethereum. And we kind of have to overcome that first. So we'll see how that goes. I think I can show off. I have like a kind of a, let me check in. Anybody else have anything that they built on scaffold-eth that they want to show off, first of all? Okay, looks like no. So I have kind of just like a cool story to tell about multisigs. So if you, let me just go ahead and share my screen again. If you haven't yet, you should have a Gnosis Safe deployed. If you haven't deployed a Gnosis Safe, man, I should turn my caps lock off. There we go. You as a builder out there, you as a Build Guild member, if you're a Build Guild member and you don't have a Gnosis Safe, hit me up. I will send you some ETH for gas. You should deploy a Gnosis Safe. Gnosis Safes are super, super handy, and they're a great way to store your crypto in a way where if you lose your mnemonic, you're not totally hosed, right? Kind of like one of the worst UX experiences in Web3 is you have this 12-word seed phrase, and if that gets leaked or that gets lost, all your money is gone immediately, right? And there's nothing you can do. There's no support. There's no can devs do anything. You're done. That's it. So a better experience would be having many accounts where you have, a 12-word seed phrase from your phone, a 12-word seed phrase from your laptop, a 12-word seed phrase on a hardware wallet, and then you have a multi-signature wallet where it takes, you know, 2 of 3 of those accounts to sign something off, or maybe you have a buddy that has an account that allows it to like dead man reset or something like that. You can kind of hard code those things in. A much safer way to store your crypto. But the Gnosis safe, I would say that like the space is highly reliant on the Gnosis safe, and the transaction service of the Gnosis safe is not so great sometimes. And I feel like, and a lot of DAOs right now have like a lot of need for using the Gnosis safe. And there's a lot of decentralization happening where people are deploying governance tokens, and then they have to have everything decentralized and on multisigs. And then some DAO is trying to make some very important transaction, and the Gnosis safe transaction service is down. Similar to what we're dealing with Surge right now. There's, you know, if one little Web 2 service goes down and your entire app is down, you're not very decentralized, right? So just thinking about how we can improve the ecosystem, I started with just making like a multi-sig. I like just like a simple signature-based multi-sig. I think it's, yeah, meta multi-sig, right? And it wasn't like my contract in particular. The contract's really interesting. We can look at it for a second. The contract, it uses ECDSA signature. So it's very similar to how like meta transactions work, where you're going to, and I think the original, hopefully I gave credit here. The original was like, let's see if I can find it in one signature-based multi-sig simple, something like that. What comes up? I think the guy's name is Christian R. There we go. Yes, this dude, L, Christian L. Okay, so this dude made this multi-sig back in what, 5 years ago? But here we go, this simple multi-sig, and he added some extra stuff. But the key is this execute function. And the way it works is you send in an array of signatures, and it looks through all the signatures and makes sure that you have enough signatures. So if you want to make a transaction, you basically collect signatures from all your signers, and you make a single transaction with an array of all those signatures and the thing you want to do, and it makes sure all the signatures are valid. And if they are, it executes whatever that call is. Very, very simple wallet, right? But this is like the key to how this multi-sig works. And the one really interesting thing is this line right here. And I totally missed it when I built my first one. And it was like an auditor buddy that showed me that like you have to have this. So take a second to look at that. What that's doing is it's making sure that basically the recovered addresses from the signatures in the array are in order. And what you're checking there is you're checking for duplicates. So what this does is you collect a bunch of signatures and you turn them in, and it goes through each signature, making sure that the signature is valid, but also that it's an owner, but also that there's not duplicates. Because what you could do is have multiple signatures from the same owner, and it would work out here, and then the multi-sig would actually like process that transaction. So this is kind of like this really interesting, cool hack that you can do to make this contract very simple. To make this multi-sig work is you say, turn in all your signatures in order of the address that signed them, and we'll double check that there aren't any duplicates and that things are in order with this one little line. And it's a really cool, like elegant way to do a signature-based multi-sig. It takes some work on the front end because you have to have things every sorted, like the front end has to sort all those signatures and send them to the smart contract. But really, if you're doing extra work, you want to be doing it in the front end, not in the smart contract. So now that we have this really cool multi-sig from 5 years ago, we extended it for scaffold-eth, and we added a few really interesting kind of so this modifier is only self, which is really weird, but it means that the message.sender is itself. So it can call, so basically you craft up a transaction that says we want to add a signer to the multi-sig, and you call it on yourself. And so we make sure that it's only self, and then we look through and we add the owner. So this allows us to kind of add a signer or remove a signer or update the threshold of signatures that are required. And then, you know, the rest of it is the same. We have that same kind of duplicate guard that we create here, where we go through and we look through all the transactions and we make sure they're in order. And then we go ahead and execute that transaction if we have everything correct. So same thing from that old transaction. This one actually has some streaming stuff. This is when we were working on, I was like first building streams to builders, and I was doing it out of a multisig. And so I would just like add new streams to people. That was before I started deploying just like stream contracts. But anyways, the story is the ecosystem needs to have more multisigs, and it needs to have more forkable like optionality around building a multisig. The Gnosis Safe is wonderful and it's awesome, but we just need to have more in the ecosystem. And I would like to see more builders building more multisigs. And so we kind of built that challenge into the speed run. And as people come through BuidlGuidl, they, you know, they take on their first few challenges, but then they take on a DEX and they take on a multisig. And some folks have forked mine and made some different ones out of it, which is really cool. We're starting to see like new little like multisigs show up everywhere. But I think Divinipus, I don't, let me type in his name here. This guy also made kind of a multisig as a service. But the multisig as a service is something that's come out of this. If I type in Slade again, there is Stephen Slade. So he created this multisig as a service, which is really, really smooth. And he deployed it to Covan. And so, oh no, I bet that is on a Surge domain, isn't it? We're not going to be able to demo that right now. Yep, darn it. Okay, so I was thinking we could do this really cool thing where I set up a multisig and I add a few owners to it on Covan, but we'll have to save that for next week. So beyond that though, showing off the BuidlGuidl, this scholarship. So what I did is I took that multisig as a service and I forked it and I created scholarship.buildguild, which is just a multisig that, so there's basically DAO.BuildGuild, right? And this is where money can flow in from the Ethereum Foundation and other funders that are funding the BuildGuild just to fund public goods. And then the members of that LLC have to vote to move funds. And so it's very slow. When I want to distribute funds, we do that sometimes, right? I'll go to BuildGuild. Actually, I'll go to fund.buildguild now, right? I'll go to fund.buildguild.com. I'll grab some owners. Oh yeah, this is broken too. I'll stream. I'll add a bunch of builders to a cart, and then I'll send some funds to their streams, but I'll have to get a vote from the DAO. So what I wanted was like a good middleware layer where I could YOLO some funds in like a scholarship. And so I used this multisig as a service to deploy scholarship.buildguild, which is just like this simple little multisig. But let me just like show kind of, let's imagine the DAO has to make a big vote, but then the DAO sends in like a couple ETH or whatever that is. And then once we have that, now it's really easy for me to YOLO some funds. So let's try that. Actually, I think I have a proposal for, let's see, there's one for Steve Slade like in here. I need to remember to set that up. I want to send him some funds just for building this cool thing. Let me just have that in my notes somewhere. Okay, so let's propose a new transaction and just watch how smooth this is. So let's see. I'm gonna set this up here. Create this. Okay, so let's propose a transaction to send, let's see, let's send punk.austingriffith.eth like $5 or something, right? So we can propose that from mine and it should go there. So I sign a message that goes to a backend. This is another thing, like one of the reasons why the Gnosis Safe transaction service is a little finicky is because they have to run that infrastructure. And I think that we want to make these backends like super forkable and be like, okay, if you're setting up your own multisig, you can have a GunDB, you can have IPFS, you can have Firebase, you can have AWS, just like any number of backend services that can handle your transactions for you. And you can kind of set that up how you want. Okay, so I've got this transfer. It's kind of nice, right? Like if we were to look at a transaction, a lot of times it shows like a bunch of call data and a bunch of junk. So clean this up to be like, you're transferring $5 to Punk Wallet. Do you want to sign this? Like very, very like obvious. Let's go to scholarship over here. Very obvious UI around this multisig in a very simple, like straightforward multisig. Okay, so now I'm going to connect. So all of this is built with scaffold-eth, right? I'm going to use a burner wallet. So I'm going to use my Punk wallet, also built with scaffold-eth on Ethereum. Let's see if we show that. Yep. So this is punk.austingriffith.eth, and I can wallet connect in with Punk. And now it should be logged in as, oh no, I forgot to delete the previous session. Darn it. Okay, let's try that again. Connect, wallet connect. One more time. There we go. Now I'm logged in as punk.austingriffith to this session. And if I go to the pool, I should see the same transactions, and I should be able to sign this. And it's going to bring up a signature on my phone. Do you want to sign that? And I do. And then this should update to 2 out of 2 signatures, and then either of us can execute this. I'll go ahead and execute it from this dude. And there we go. We just sent $5 to punk.austingriffith.eth from a multisig that came from a DAO. So it's like a quick way for me to give scholarships out to a bunch of people. And if we go look at the transaction history, I've done a bunch of transfers to a bunch of folks, basically coming into the Build Guild, people have, you know, tackled the decks that are working on the multisig next. I want to send them, you know, just enough ETH that they can go register an ENS, or just enough ETH that they can deploy a Gnosis safe. I don't want to have to bug the DAO for that. I want to be able to do that out of our own multisig, kind of a YOLO session. And there you go. You get like this nice, I don't know. I think when you look at transaction history, it doesn't usually look this pretty. And I think cleaning it up and making a super simple multisig is what this is all about. So yeah, this is here. This is forkable. We're going to continue working on this. This is like, honestly, like 80 to 90% of the way toward being a multisig as a service like product, right? We could get a couple folks that want to go pro with this, and they can make the product, get VC funding or whatever, make this thing like a real product. But that's a chat for another day. Just wanted to show off, and let me go ahead and propose that the transaction back to this guy who built this original. But that's it. Great, quick little multi-sig as a service. Really makes it easy for someone. Anybody know what the amount was? I'm just going to go 500. I'm not sure. Yep, there we go. Propose that. Now it's in the pool again. If he comes along and signs it off, he'll be set. But yeah, simple multi-sig wallet. Anybody can fork it. Anybody can use it. You can get in and deploy your own. So we're getting close to having that as a service that's available for folks. Also, the mobile wallet, like Scaffold multi-sig is coming out. Scaffold mobile wallet is coming out. We want to just like find these places in the ecosystem where we need more diversity and more builds, and throw just like tons of forkable examples in there. Awesome stuff. Anybody else have any closing thoughts? Happy Bowtie Friday. I forgot to let Chris in. he's joining right now. Whoops. Awesome. Okay.
I love all this.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, Kevin. Yeah. Welcome, dude. Thanks, so man. You're going to do a scaffold-eth build, maybe for like another hackathon here soon, right? Yeah. I love the idea of other people other than me doing scaffold-eth demos, so I don't have to travel as much. I got a kid coming soon, and I'm not going to be able to travel as much. So if I can enable more missionaries. Okay, hearts. Happy Bowtie Friday. Thanks for being here. See you guys next Friday or the Friday after that.